You can't have it all. I'm telling you, you can have it all because you already are it all. It's all these distractions of society and the matrix to keep us from ever finding who we truly are. We are infinite beings.
The system's got some of you so programmed you find it so hard to think outside of the box. That's why as many get old, they mentally never evolve, so their consciousness still remains in exactly the same spot. They're still making the same mistakes they were making when they were teenagers, and I swear this cycle needs to be stopped. I'm seeing fully grown women and men repeating the same patterns again and again, like all their common sense has been completely lost or forgot. The scary thing is that most of them are parents, but how can they raise children on the knowledge that they just haven't got? So their kids get raised up by the system, the same system that will aim to stick them back in a box that still has their parents' consciousness locked. The system will aim to convince them that anything worth having can only be bought or come from a shop, and that you judge a man not by his heart but by whether or not he has lots of money or not. They're teaching him that life isn't worth living unless you can somehow make it to the top. That's why so many kids crave that celebrity status. They're just emulating the celebrities that for years they've been programmed to follow, respect and watch. And just to fit in this city we're in, many of them become something or someone they're not. They chase the money and fame whilst tied to the matrix game by invisible chains that keep them locked in that same old box. And as for the parents, what can they do when they've been programmed too by those who only ever see them as pawns and props? How can they save them when they don't know how to raise them so the kids too grow up insecure and feeling lost? They can't, so they walk around blind in a society designed to keep their higher minds locked or switched off. They've never been taught how to deal and react to problems. They've only ever been taught and shown how to paint over any issues or cracks with gloss. That's why so much drama and beef continually escalates on these streets when it could quite easily have been dealt with and squashed. That's why we're now living in a city where over postcode disputes kids are willing to shoot and so more young lives are being continually lost.
We're never going to reach the greatness that we are, and we're never going to be able to change the world the way we would like to in our heart, because there's always something that we're fighting. And as long as you're fighting something, you're creating it.
They keep you fighting one another so as to keep you divided, because if you ever united, you'd be too strong to control. That's why from thousands of years ago it was unanimously decided to keep you at war with your brothers, so you operated in fractions and not as a whole. And now they've got you so programmed you wouldn't think twice to take your brother's life with a gun or a knife, even though the price is your soul. But if you and that same brother had instead joined sides, you would have soon realized he was never the real enemy like you'd been led to believe or were told. It's time to open your eyes and get wise to the lies you've been fed since them days of old. For the lies you've been fed have twisted your heads. Now instead of evolving, you're just playing your role in the matrix code. They also know that what you fight against you create more of. That's why the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on whatever will just create more of the same. That's why despite the war on whatever, nothing ever seems to get better or ever even seems to really change. They create problems that get you to react because they want you to get mad and attack those who they convince you are to blame. Whilst they are the real perpetrators, the war creators, the true orchestrators of this whole matrix game.
The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.